vibing on a vibe. 10-4, we smoking my eye. We go 0 to 65, vibing out the way. Get yours, stay alive. Been dope, vibing on a vibe. 10-4, we smoke.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Nikey Joe Show on a Sunday morning. Sunrise Sundays, very odd time, but it is an odd time because we have a whole nother side of the world here again as we are going to interview KingNilzz, or Nilzz, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Nilzz. I am a producer and occasionally affiliate with White Collar Rhymes.
He does stuff on our Chewsday Show on a Thursday now with our fellow White Collar Rhymes artists and affiliates, Rogue Jepson and MCD, and sometimes a rotating seat, possibly with Mimic, I think.
I think he's done one show since I started a year ago.
You're like, maybe. But we are here to kind of get a little bit deeper into getting to know Nilzz a little bit, especially since, you know, he is one of the co-hosts on one of our productions here at White Collar Rhymes, and a lot of us don't know much about Nilzz. Can you actually start with the story behind your artist name, Nilzz?
Well, I mean, I don't care about revealing my full name. My surname is Banella. It's Italian. And back in school when I was younger, I was known Luke Vanilla, Luke Banana, you know, all the hilarious things that kids do. And Vanilla was the main one, but then it got shortened to Nilla. And then it was shortened again to Nilzz. And for about 20 years, I've been known as Nilzz.
That's wild. So, Nilzz from Vanilla. That's crazy. It's almost like I wonder how Vanilla Ice and all them came about. But very, very short. Very, very short. I guess for music, how long have you been doing music? And I know that you're currently a producer, but you previously, you know, did rap and perform. Can you kind of start with how you got started in music?
It was back in the Bebo days, actually. So I was 15. Was that 2006? And I saw a lot of people my age from around the country doing it, and I thought, yeah, that looks like a laugh, I'll try it. One of my friends actually wrote a song for me to perform, and I found my first beat from LimeWire, I think it was.
LimeWire.
Yeah. And it all went from there. And then I started writing from there, released a really bad mixtape in probably early 2007. And it just sort of went from there, really.
Nice. So your first mixtape, was it taken well by family and such?
Not really. I was told it was trash, and I agreed with them, to be fair. It's under a year, I wrote a 12-track mixtape with some of the most basic bars, the old AB rhyme scheme.
You're like, that's it. Very, very basic.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of starts like that, though, in their music journey. You know, did you only rap or do you sing?
I only rap. I can't sing to save my life.
I had to ask that one. For your, I guess, your musical style then and now, how would you describe your style? And when did you stop? Do you still rap?
Occasionally, if there's a little beef I want to get involved in, but they're very few and far between now. But I used to do like grime music, like predominantly 140 BPM grime music, and that's what sort of elevated me into production, because I knew a lot of producers when MySpace became big, and I was networking with a lot of them.
Yeah, and MySpace was a crazy time.
I do miss MySpace.
I do too. I still go on mine, honestly. The server's terrible, but I still get pictures from it. It's still up there.
I think mine got deleted.
I don't know. You'd be surprised. They did like this recovery mode of it. It's like weird.
I'll have to look into that later on. But I'm glad it's deleted, to be fair. I don't really want to recover any of the things that...
It's crazy seeing your top 8. I'm telling you right now. Going back in and seeing your top 8 from 2008, 2009 is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I could bring myself to do it, to be fair.
So for your grimy music, do you feel like you also produce mainly grime music, or do you produce different genres?
Well, I started trying to produce grime music, well, probably back in 2009, 2010. And I just couldn't get the hang of it. I couldn't do it like the bigger name producers were doing. And then I discovered 808 Kicks. Sort of it went to trap music for a while, predominantly influenced by 808 Mafia and Scott Storch. It's hard to think of the artists, the producers off the top of my head. But yeah, it went from there, and then I slowly sort of slipped into like hip hop, boom bap style for a while.
Yeah.
And then I've decided to go back to grime now.
Nice. So you've done a lot of different genres throughout your production. What is your creative process in? How do you decide to just switch up? Is it you just like you heard the 808, so you're like, all right, let's get these? Do you hear like something, an element in another genre that you're like, hey, let me try that?
Sometimes, yeah. Normally, it's quite chaotic with my brain. I end up with about 5 or 6 different ideas, and either all of them have to be combined together or nothing at all. I get frustrated with it. But a lot of the time, it's like video game soundtracks. I listen to quite a lot of them, and I hear things, I hear elements. It's like, oh, that'd sound good if I did this. So then flip it, sample it, and try something like that.
Nice. So your creative process is definitely definitely all over the place, I guess. It's chaos in itself, even pulling from random things and stuff. I think that's how it is for a lot of people, but the all or nothing mentality, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Because you could have something that's completely phenomenal because of all of it, or just like you could possibly also miss out on something if you don't want to use one element. Yeah, that's kind of I wonder, do you go through life mostly with an all or nothing mentality?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. For the different influences that you've had, I know that you said for the 808s, can you go through any other musical influences besides like a video game soundtracks or anything that you've had throughout your life? Like what are some of the other maybe producers or rappers that have inspired you on your journey?
It's mainly been like the old school underground UK grime artists that I pulled a lot of my influence from back in like 07, 08 from there. So like Wiley, JME, Skepta, and a lot of unsigned ones.
Why does Skepta sound familiar to me?
He did a lot of I think he did a couple of tracks with ASAP Rocky.
Okay. I don't listen to a lot of rap.
No, that's fair enough. I don't expect you to know half the producers that I spout out, to be honest.
No, for sure, but definitely I like to look them up though. I do definitely have a list of that random people from the community can add music to for me to learn. It's a culturize me list.
Oh, no, it's good. Always good to broaden your horizons.
Have to add some UK underground to it. For those different influences for producers, how do you think that because you're actually, I know that, I had Gons on here last week and he, has rapped and he, went into producing as well. But for producers, how do you use like your musical influences, like your favorite rapper in your production? Like, do you use that type of stuff in your production with your stylistic choices, I guess? Still through your production, not just, your delivery, I guess, how you would rap like your favorite rapper normally starting.
Normally with rapping, my flow can switch up. I can work from anywhere from like 80 BPM up to 150. So it normally ranges from that, but I've got too many influences to really describe it properly.
Okay. For your so you've been making music now for quite some time, 15 years, 16 years?
Since 2006.
2006? That's crazy. That's so long. Is there anything, I know that you've performed live. Is there any specific like live performances that you think have affected your career or your I guess your life, just the most memorable ones that you've done?
Probably the most memorable live performance I did was a song I wrote about my dog after he died. And it took me just over a year before I could perform it live. I did it in front of a small audience, and it basically made me realize that if I think about it, I can do it. So it was more because I suffer quite bad with anxiety and performance anxiety. I stand there like a statue most of the time, but I can normally push myself through it if I need to.
Yeah. That's I've only done one live performance and my knees basically shook the whole time. I stood there and sang, but like even with karaoke and stuff, like it's definitely hard. Like, how do you overcome that kind of shit in music?
Well, basically, if I agree to something, I don't like to not do it. So I just sort of have to get through it. It's more mind over matter, I think. I'm quite good at pushing through the anxiety stage of things.
When you already start going on stage, do you feel like your anxiety kind of subsides, or do you still feel it throughout it?
I feel it throughout. I did a performance a couple of years ago in a pub garden in the summer, and I forgot to bring my drink on stage. I did 3 songs, and my mouth was dry after the first 10 seconds. And I had to try and do my verses with a dry mouth, and you could see that I was shitting myself. And I'm glad it wasn't filmed.
Yeah, I feel like generally, like when I started going, like if I'm singing in front of people, it generally starts to subside a little bit. But I think that it's even like trying to remember all the words. Like what if I fuck something up, and then keeping going if you fuck up, like so no one notices. Like that's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with on stage. How long did you perform for?
The one in the summer was probably 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like one track, have a little break, one track.
That's nice. So you still do obviously perform if you get asked to or feel inclined to?
Yeah, every now and then. But I've literally been coasting off the same like 3 songs since 2014. Well, one song since 2014.
Yeah. And do you ever do covers?
I've thought about it, but never actually put my head to it.
I guess, do people do covers in rap shows? I've never really seen that, I don't think.
That's a good point, actually. I don't think I've seen that. I've seen singers do covers, but I've never seen a rap cover.
Is that a thing? Weird.
I'm not sure.
General question to the audience. Oh, Ray wants to know if you fuck with trap polka.
I have never tried it, but I'm always willing to try it. Definitely. I love trap.
So, yeah. Is trap one of your favorites?
Yeah. Yeah, I just like anything that annoys my neighbors with bass.
So you like to know your neighbors.
Yeah.
Is there any genres that you haven't explored yet, but you want to?
I've made a couple of like house tracks in the past, and I quite like to expand on that a bit more. Definitely. It's I've got another weird track coming up in the next couple of weeks that I'm releasing. And that was more like housey electro pop style, and I enjoyed making that.
Love me some electro pop house. I'll definitely review it.
Thank you very much.
Like, love me some house. So this is kind of your first time exploring like the EDM side of production?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I've always had like an inkling I wanted to do something with it, but I've never really put my mind to it until I was
double piss off your neighbors.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have to plug the other speaker back in.
That's awesome. Especially EDM, there's so many different subgenres too. There's so many. It's crazy. I feel like there's way more than in that genre than any genre, because there is so many different kinds. What impact do you feel? I guess what impact do you try to have with your beats on your listeners or the artists that choose them? Are you always trying to portray like an emotional tone? Sometimes are you just making a beat just because you had a cool idea? I guess how do you try to affect your listeners?
Oh, usually it always goes on how I'm feeling. A lot of my stuff is quite angry sounding, which is fair enough. Some of them have been quite like deep and meaningful, but a lot of them have been like angry. And I suppose I try and portray that as, rather than, being a dick, fighting people, getting arrested, I make music. And it sort of spills out into that.
How do you think, so coming from a not very angry person, well, I don't think I'm an angry person. It's an angry person. Maybe not angry all the time, but you tend to make angry music from what I'm listening to. How has your journey in the music industry affected, since you do get your feelings out through your music, as most of us do? How has the journey in the industry affected your mental health? Has it helped you positively? Has it had negative impacts too?
I suppose it's had a bit of both, where I felt I've released something and people like it. It's like, oh shit, I actually feel all right. And other times it's like, I could have done that better. And then I start like overthinking it. Like, oh, what could I have done better? I don't want to re-release it. And a lot of the time it comes down to like mental burnout. If I've been focusing on something for longer than a couple of days, I start getting bored of it. I've got hundreds of unreleased tracks on this computer that I've just given up with, that I should probably go back to, actually. Yeah, I suppose it's sort of 50-50. It's helped and it's impacted it quite badly.
I've never thought of that other side of it, because I've definitely done what I call my spinning on tracks, and they end up being real big mental blocks for me. It's really good call out. And it stopped me where I feel guilty doing other music because I'm not finishing that one.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel that. Never looked at it as like that much of it as a detriment. Maybe I should. Definitely, I think in production too, like that would be, I think writing's a little bit different. Like getting stuck with a writing block is like a production block. Like, I don't know, because production, you could just still keep going and just really make something really, really fucking bad. You can't fuck up writing that much because you got to rhyme.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, some people rhyme.
Some people rhyme. But do you is there any specific mental health challenges you faced as a producer, more so than rapping?
I suppose mainly like along the depression side of things, because I get worked up quite easily. I get frustrated if things don't sound right straight away. I don't give myself a chance to like, right, stop, walk away for 5 minutes, go and have a cigarette, come back.
Yeah.
I just get angrier and angrier trying to do it, and then I just close down FL Studio, turn my computer off, and go and watch YouTube videos.
Shit, maybe I do have anger issues. Just kidding. What different, now obviously that's a good personal strategy to like step away, take a step back, that you've developed. What other strategies do you think that you've developed while making music to, maintain your mental health? Whether it's just walking away. Have you ever just stopped like a collab completely because of your mental health?
Yeah, there's been a couple where I've been working on a joint beat with someone and I've had to turn around and say, look, I can't do this. It's pissing me off too much.
Yeah.
And I didn't. It made me feel guilty. Sorry. Yeah, it made me feel really guilty about it because it was something that we've been talking about for ages. And when it finally happened, I sort of fucked it up.
Yeah. Damn. That's a lot. That's a lot to carry on yourself. How do you get through that and managing that stress and pressure?
Well, normally now I do just take a step back, maybe give it a day, a few hours, depends how angry I've got, and then I come back to it. It's like, right, we'll work from the melody first, see if I can get that sounding okay. Right, that sounds all right. Then you move to the drum pattern, and then
I feel
afterwards
like
it's all together.
Start with drums a lot.
So I start with the melodies first. Well, it depends. Depends how I'm feeling. If I've got a really good idea for a drum pattern, I'll do that first and then try and work a melody into it. If I've got a melody, I'll work a drum pattern into it.
I like that you're able to, you know, take the step back and come back. I think that's something that a lot of artists need to learn. That's something that I definitely am still learning, still newer, is walking away and being able to come back with like a sound mind and not like frustration or, you know, anxiety about the fact that it's not perfect, because that's something that I think that a lot of musicians are, artists are perfectionists.
Yeah.
And that's something that I struggle with all the time. So I think that that's a really good strategy for, you know, even newer artists that might be listening, is being able to step away and come back, you know, without actually just completely shutting off, but knowing also when that boundary, like, I can't do this, you know, knowing when that boundary's hit. Do you always know when you're like, nope, this just, I can't, like, I just can't? Or does it take time wasted first to know?
That also depends as well, because I've sat here for hours before just trying to come up with a counter melody, and when I start feeling myself getting a little bit tense, it's like, right, save what I've got, disappear for a bit, and then come back afterwards. And yeah, that is probably the best thing I can say. Once you feel yourself getting stressed out about it, just stop for a bit.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely some good advice. What different approach in the emotional aspects of your musical production, what different approaches do you take from emotional? Do you always do angry music? Do you take aspects when you're like, I guess, happy and make happy beats? Is your house EDM track a happier beat, I guess?
Yeah, I think it is.
Good. Have you noticed that the tones that you have in your different genres that you've produced throughout your life have kind of aligned with the different seasons of your life?
Yeah, I'd say so. I released an entire, well, then again, I released it was either an EP or an album. I can't remember what it was now. It was through lockdown, and it was all like Japanese themed. And there were some really angry tracks in there, but there were two really nice ones at the end. I think I might have made the nice ones first, actually, then got annoyed with being shut in my house.
Probably. You're like, oh, this is nice. I get some time alone.
Yeah. Think, all this time to do whatever I want, and then I don't really achieve much through it.
It's crazy that we all lived in a lockdown, honestly, in our lives.
4 years now. It still doesn't seem right.
It's crazy. Still thinking about it. For lockdown, actually, how did that affect your music and your mental health?
Well, for the start, when we first went into lockdown back in March, I was supposed to be performing on the Friday night at an open mic night, and obviously the day before they called it, and it's like, I was looking forward to that in a really weird sort of way, because I was terrified of doing it.
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, we'll all get put into lockdown. But I ended up working through most of it. So I didn't really have. Apparently, yeah. Because I'm a steel fabricator by trade, and we had a contract for a lot of body frames for morgues. So we were very busy during that.
Yeah, so you had to go out during all of that shit.
Yeah. Sticking to all the guidelines, keeping away from people.
Yeah, I feel like over there too, I feel like it's just a little bit different because of how your guys' houses are even set up and stuff too.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different lockdown. Like, did you guys talk to neighbors and stuff like that? Like, I feel like everything's so close in England.
I used to I lived in a pub at the time, so there
pub?
was it was a little room above the courtyard.
I'm sorry, that's like the most English thing that somebody said on my show.
Yeah, it was good. It was cheap, just a little studio flat above the beer garden.
That's awesome. And so the pub was obviously shut down. Were you able to go down there?
Yeah, we had a couple of day drinking sessions with the other people that lived there. Because we were all stuck in there.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was good, to be fair. I do miss that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's like hanging out with your friends after closing at the bar.
Yeah.
If you know the bartender or one.
Yeah. We knew the landlord and landlady quite well, so it worked out all right.
That's cool. That's cool. How did you record above a bar?
I just released beats at that time.
Oh yeah, shit. I'm like, wait a second.
I moved to my girlfriend's parents' house while we were waiting for a flat to be moved out of, and I just recorded in a little box room with this £20 USB mic.
Nice. Yeah, see? No excuses, guys. No
Exactly.
excuses. So obviously you're a WCR co-host, leading from, COVID and everything. Somehow you wound up here. How did you wind up here?
Well, it was MCD that approached me. We'd worked together a few years before on his Them collective. And he knew that I was a producer because we only lived like 20 miles away from each other. And I sent him a few. He released a couple of tracks. And then out of the blue, when I was sat at work, I got a message from him saying, random question, bit short notice. Do you want to jump on the Chewsday Show? This is what we do. And it's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah. That's awesome. What do you enjoy about doing the Chewsday Show?
That my chaos isn't reined in. I can say what I think. Yeah.
It's a good platform for that.
Oh yeah. Although I'm still annoyed at Rogue.
Still a what?
Still annoyed at Rogue for putting me through a 22-minute song the other week.
Yeah, that's the one that I walked in on the end. I'm like,
yeah.
And I normally, because Tuesdays I normally have meetings and stuff, so I'm like, I can't even listen, so I'm like, well, it's on Thursday, I'll try. I'm like, and then I come into that and you guys are just both like this on screen. I'm like, what the hell did I walk into?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience. I'll give it that.
That was funny. That was a funny show. What do you, I guess, have you ever been part of another music community?
No.
Before?
No, I've always just done things on my own, really.
Yeah? And solos worked for you, though, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I've come this far.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have people to go to ask for advice.
For sure. That's one of the main things is like, because when I am in those moments where I'm spinning, because I'm like, this sounds like shit. Like, and then they're like, no, it doesn't. Or they're like, yeah, it does. So it's good to have that backup for sure.
Yeah.
So with the Chewsday Show, how does it fit into your life? Do you like how it aligns with everything that you're doing in your life? Do you feel like it's, something that's in alignment, I guess, with your plans?
Yeah, it's nice to, I've discovered a lot of new music through it from like MCD and when Ryan was on there and the experiences that we all bring to the show in music.
I forgot Ryan was on it.
Yeah, Ryan was, I think he left just after the season ended.
Yeah, it was right at the beginning. I like the Chewsday Show. I think it's fun. I think it's a different type of viewpoint on music because we have the review show where we're reviewing people that are submitting to us, and you guys actually go out and find people to review. And it's not always ass. Like you guys had some really good bands and stuff on there too. What's been one of your favorite bands that you found on the Chewsday Show?
100% High Regard, because we did that little recording.
Yeah, that promo for them.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, High Regard was good.
I did the voiceover in some of those.
Yeah.
MCD. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was one because I was like, I think I'm saying a lot of these words wrong. I know shires are all shures. So.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that much with pronunciation. I asked him how to pronounce like 15 different words. So they're a local, High Regard is a local UK band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
That's
Rogue
cool.
went to see them live. He said it in chat. Yeah, Rogue went to see them live a couple of months after we heard them for the first time.
Yeah.
And
Did he get to talk to them and such?
yeah, I think he's got photos with them on Instagram.
That's fun. Oh, he wanted to know, was Anime Queens on your list? That Japanese.
No, Anime Queens was just a separate single that we did as a laugh because we thought it'd be funny.
So as the co-host on the podcast, how do you feel like you contribute differently than the other guys?
Well, I bring weapons grade autism and my chaotic thoughts into the mix. I sometimes don't think before I speak, which, I mean, people find it funny. That's all that matters, really, as long as they're enjoying me.
Entertainment. That is definitely great for entertainment. For the, I know that I've seen on your socials too that you do promote like awareness on autism and such. Do you want to speak more about any of those mental health challenges you've had and how maybe music has helped those?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm also, and Rogue said I also bring the odd fart every now and then. That's true. But I'm currently awaiting a referral and an official diagnosis, but I have been told by people that have been diagnosed with autism I'm pretty up there on the spectrum. And I think it brings chaos, and I thrive in chaos, whether it be at work, doing music. I know where everything is, where everything needs to be. If it's all neat and tidy, I get annoyed.
Yeah.
But it's helped me. One thing that I do struggle with is focusing. And I fidget a lot and get distracted, but music has helped me sort of knuckle it down ever so slightly. So I can concentrate doing the same thing for longer than I normally would.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely good as a therapeutic thing like that. Tool like that to have in that kit. Especially because, there is a lot of artists that do struggle with a lot of different mental health, behavioral health issues, and they don't speak about it openly. So that's why I definitely want to just, have that platform out there too, to definitely have that so people do share it, any struggles and such like that. And also things that might, help, or if they're thinking about, trying something to help gain control of their own life, and that music can help you, regulate by having that thing to focus on. I think that's a great tool that people could use, definitely for mental health. How do you feel that? Do you feel like that has been detrimental at all to making music? Has it hurt at all?
I'd say it's been helpful to me because I put a lot of experiences in. If I'm writing a song, like Power, when I wrote that, I put a lot of my experiences of suicide attempts into it. And it basically starts from, being shit, being down in the dumps. And then at the end of the verse, everything's fine. Or the end of the song, sorry. But the best thing I can suggest to do, if you're feeling like that, is just write it down. It doesn't have to be a song straight away. Write it all down and then come back to it when you're in a better place. And then if you think, oh, actually, you could work things into it. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. I'm a big advocate on suicide prevention, so I'm glad that you're here, first of all.
Thank you.
I'm very happy that you're still here. And I'm glad that you are finding tools to cope with, all of everything, life.
Everything goes on.
Life. Yeah, because it's a lot and it doesn't stop, and it's a continuous battle.
Yeah.
It's definitely nice to hear about those things. Do you want to talk any further in depth about any mental health, anything like that maybe might help someone that might be listening?
Well, most importantly, I suppose, don't try and commit suicide. There's more to live for, which at the time I didn't think. But look at me now. It's been, 15 years? And
15 years?
15 years since I last attempted it.
Yeah,
And
it's a long time.
The weirdest way I can think about it is, well, there's no point doing it again because I've tried multiple times and it hasn't worked. I'm invincible. And that is weirdly what keeps me going. Not the best way to think, but it's
a way to think.
That's sorted me out. But I suppose more importantly, to talk about it. You know, there's still a massive stigma on mental health.
So much.
I'm very open about it. You know, I've struggled. Everyone will struggle. Whether you want to keep silent or not, it's up to you. But the best thing to do is speak about it to someone that you trust.
For sure.
And it does feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
And then with that too, I know that's it's really hard for people to open up about things because they don't feel comfortable. They feel like they'll be judged. How would you, I guess, tell someone that, you know, give them advice on how to get over that fear of speaking up?
I suppose at the end of the day, how other people think, regardless, it's down to you to not fix it, but it's down to you to try and put practices in to solve it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes other people can help. I'm not saying that, you know, cognitive behavior therapy, I've been through all of that. And it does help. There's so many resources online and there's so many people you can talk to about it.
Have you ever done tapping?
What's that?
Where you like tap in certain spots. It's for anxiety release and stuff too, actually, and trauma release. There's certain things that you tap, like like I don't need to and like say words like in threes to, you know, give everything I have to feel loved. You know, stuff like that. Like,
oh no, I've never tried that. I was just given a lot of like breathing exercises.
I love breathing too. Breathing is really big. SOS breathing saved my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely good little tools and something that I think a lot of artists struggle with behavioral and mental health issues. And I think that the more you grow in the industry, the worse it gets. Like, I mean, look at all the shit going on right now, you know, and all of the, you know, trauma that everybody's having from all this stuff that's coming out too, that, you know, that they have, and they're just dealing with silently because no one has known about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot. I feel like, especially as a lot of people that are in our community do want to grow and become bigger. And it doesn't get any less, I think, when you grow, honestly. I think the mental health issues exacerbate as you know, gain popularity too, because the pressure is just so deep. So I think that it's really big for people to see, you know, and come up with these coping mechanisms before they do ever get to that point, you know, so then they know, and then they also have the boundaries to know when to stop, when to walk away. So I definitely think that's super important. That's something that I noticed on your page that I think that with your recent birthday, I was like, who is Nilzz? You know, that you were, you know, promoting, you know, autism awareness and such. And I was like, okay, I'm like, definitely nice to have artists out there trying to end stigmas, because that's so big. And we don't have enough artists that do. I don't feel like they'll talk about it, but they don't really do shit.
No, exactly.
They don't. But for that being said too, how do you, because I always ask this question about balance, because balance is a significant thing that I've had issues with in my music career, with family, even like trying to date, or, you know, I was married, anything like that, like balancing music and life and your mental health and stuff. How do you do that? Is that easy for you to do?
I'd say it's quite easy. I have moments where it's like, right, this is something I was taught in therapy, to have a routine. So Saturdays, take my girlfriend to work, come back, sit on my computer for a couple of hours, have a break, come back to it. And during the week, I don't really do it. I might do the odd thing every now and then, but Saturday, main, where I say, right, this is going to be for music. Everything else is just going to be random.
Yeah, like if I hop on and I have time to finish up this beat or finish up this collab or whatnot.
Yeah.
Actually setting down and setting a set schedule.
Yeah, and that's definitely helped me out.
Nice. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of, especially with life, because life gets so crazy, and that's the thing that nobody sees on the other side of artists is the life side of things, and them keeping up a whole everything, like sick parents, sick kids, like stuff like that, and
family in general.
Yeah. Life, even having extracurricular activities, like if you go out partying all week, like chances are you're not going to make a lot of music.
No.
So there's definitely balance issues that I see in kind of almost every artist here. How do you with your career that you've had so far, how would you define, I guess, success as an artist in your career? Do you want to become like a well-known producer, or do you just like making music for the release?
I used to want to be like a well-known producer, but I sort of started thinking it's unrealistic. But realistically, I enjoy doing it. So it's sort of become more for me pushing myself to do it. It's like, as and when I'll do it as a little hobby. And if something comes of it, sweet, I'll carry on. I'll carry on regardless. But I enjoy it more than anything. It's a nice little release from everything. I just sit in my little office, headphones on, and just mess about for a bit.
Would you rather make all of your money from making beats for people?
Yeah.
You're like, of course. Of course.
If I could make the money for it, I'd quit my job in a heartbeat and just do this full time.
Do you like doing steel work?
Yeah, it is fun because all I do is fold metal. But with I've got tendonitis in my elbow at the moment. I've been off work for 2 weeks with it. It's starting to look like it's not going to get any better. So I've got to really sit down now and think about what I'm going to do. Because I can't lift things for too long.
Yeah. That's office job.
Yeah, I prefer an office job.
Yeah.
But I do also enjoy what I do.
Yeah. Putting in that physical labor, I went from working in a restaurant to sitting at home. I'm like,
that'd be lovely.
Get very bored. I get very bored. I get very distracted. I definitely have ADHD, so
get fidgety and then wonder what I'm wearing.
I will literally burn a hole in my carpet from moving my feet. But it's okay. It allows me to be able to do things like step outside and breathe for a second. Not be, out at someone's workplace because I work from home. For music, how do you think WCR, I guess, has influenced your musical style, or do you feel like it has at all since being on the show with the guys?
I'd say thanks, MCD. I'm not shifting on uncomfortably. I'm just fidgeting.
I'm like, I see your spinner.
I haven't really had too many dealings with WCR as a whole, but every time I think, I'll post something on the Discord, I think, no, I don't want to do it. So I just sort of get anxious. It's not me being rude. It's me not knowing how to word things properly.
Yeah. I guess, how do you feel being on the show has changed since you have learned a lot of different artists and seen different things, and now, you have explored some medium now. How do you feel being on the show has influenced your personal music style and production?
Well, it's definitely made me come out of my shell a bit more. I'm not so awkward. I'm very awkward and anxious, but I'd say it's nice to have my opinion heard, because if some people like a song, I might not like it. I mean, I'm a man of very, very few words, as you've probably seen on the show. But
yeah, I think that I chatted more than you talked.
Yeah. But no, I need to post some stuff in the Discord. But as I said, I'm not being rude. I'm just anxious and don't know how to word things. It will take me months before I post something, I imagine.
And then it comes out and it says, "Hi."
Yeah, hello.
You're like, that took me months, guys. So for WCR, there's definitely tons of places to post your beats, such like that. How does someone from WCR get a hold of your beats?
You can follow my link tree that's on, I think, pretty much every social. It's normally KingNilzz on everything.
I'll post it in the description.
My link tree is, I believe it's Nilzz Music with a Z because I'm edgy. But I've got YouTube, BeatStars. I'm on all digital platforms. And
are you as KingNilzz or Nilzz on all of them?
Nilzz on digital platforms, KingNilzz on YouTube, maybe BeatStars. I can't remember. There's like 3 different personas that I use.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of producers, artists, rappers have so many different things, so many different socials. For production, I guess we'll jump right to production. What do you think has been the most challenging song that you've produced?
Oh, that's a tough one. I suppose most of them have been challenging in some way, whether it be trying to get it to sound right, or like I don't know a lot about mixing. It's only over the last couple of years that I've thought, oh, actually, I could do this to make it sound a bit better. Like I mix everything down in FL Studio, so my knowledge is incredibly limited. But I suppose the challenging thing is me sitting down thinking, right, what do people want to listen to? If I wasn't me, would I listen to this? And a lot of the time it's no.
Do you do productions like where you specifically like curve your production towards, an artist? Like, have you built beats specifically for artists before?
Yeah, there's been
Are those more challenging?
Yeah, because like even working with MCD, it's like his style. So I think I might have an idea of how to make this work in his style, and then I spend months doing it, and by that time the idea is gone. There's been a few artists that I've tailored beats towards, even pushing into like trap metal stuff.
Oh wow!
So that was
metal music.
Yeah,
you seem like a metal guy. Do you listen to metal music?
Every now and then.
Maybe it's because you said you're angry, and I'm just like, okay, you listen to metal.
I do like shouty music. It has to be said. Maybe not as much as MCD, but I do definitely enjoy a good shout every now and then.
Yeah, guys, all you rockers, you shouters, screams make me cry. Like they scare me. I'm like, I'm hiding in the closet.
It depends how loud the screaming is.
Yeah, I guess like old like Breaking Benjamin stuff's different. That kind of stuff I can handle, but like Metallica stuff is a little crazy. Tool, I don't know.
Yeah, like Cannibal Corpse and stuff, a bit too much for me.
Some things get a little bit heavy.
Yeah.
Is there any specific, I know I asked for artists, any specific song or album, either by you or by someone else that holds a special place in your, in your heart, in your life, like a big important song or album for you?
The most important song to me, I think, is one of mine, actually. It's called Today I Lost My Best Friend, about my dog when he died. And I was donating half of the royalties to a charity. But that song still holds. Oh, well, I suppose, like Rogue said, Ill Days by Young Alone. That was one of the best experiences I've ever had on the Chewsday Show. Yeah.
What was that experience? Tell me some information.
It was just fucking mental. There's a bloke wandering around at a family dinner talking about paedophilia, and it was mad. I've never heard anything like it, but we played it 4 times on that show.
That's crazy. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's It is life-changing, yeah.
You
will not look at him in the same way again.
That's wild. All right. I will definitely have to. For what okay, so collaborations. I know you've worked with artists and built beats and such. How do you feel like collaboration has influenced your music making process? And do you like collaborating versus working alone? I know that you've stated you like having people to go to since joining WCR, but
I suppose it's a 50-50 split. I like working with my own ideas, and I also like working from other people's ideas, sending them a sample. It's like, okay, could you do it like this? Yeah, all right, bring it back. Yeah, it's a general mix, I suppose. I like both of it.
Right. All right. Any specific criticism that you've gotten? How do you handle criticism and feedback from peers, especially when collaborating?
I normally let it go over my head unless they get really, really personal. But normally it's happened once before, a few years ago, and that's when the Great Beef Trilogy started.
What is the Great Beef Trilogy?
Oh, I did send one of my tracks into the review show, and there were a lot of comments about me going in on someone's dead dog.
Did I listen to it? Oh God,
yes, you did.
Fuck.
But it's fair enough because I didn't give the full lore. So it started off. It was a guy called Propane, and it basically started off. It was at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, and he was just a racist piece of shit. So one of my friends did a diss track on him, and I thought, yeah, I'll jump on the bandwagon as well. And then it took him 6 weeks to come back with a response, and he left it right till the end of the track, and then made a dig about the song that I wrote about my dog at the end. And that's where it all really started.
Well, I mean, that was like your everything leading up to this. I know that's your most important song.
Yeah. So then I released the Burial, and he didn't like that. Apparently I went too far. And then because he was like, oh, it's just a fucking dog, blah, blah, blah. And then earlier in the year, his dog died, and it was all over Facebook. Oh, it was my only friend. It's like, oh, you fucking prick. And then I wrote Desecration, and that was the song that I sent in. But to be fair, I didn't give enough lore.
I was probably a dick.
That's all right. I think Dice gave me a 6, so I'll take it. But yeah, I didn't give enough lore on the server, so that was on me.
Yeah, I guess maybe we should have got a little bit of lore.
I was just so excited about releasing the track, I didn't think about writing the main thing that I went in on, which was his dog dying.
Did for that is this beef still happening?
Well, he hasn't responded to me yet, and it's been 4 or 5 months, so I think I may have won.
It took him how long last time?
6 weeks.
Oh, I thought you said 6 months. I'm like, hold on.
It took him 6 weeks to respond to my first track, and it took me 18 hours to respond to that. And then that was it. He didn't respond again.
Oh. I mean, why would you go head to head with someone when they're that quick on it?
Exactly.
I wouldn't. That's why I don't review certain people. There's a couple Nikey diss tracks out there.
There's probably a few Nilzz diss tracks as well. I haven't heard any properly.
I've heard a couple of them.
Well, I haven't heard any good ones.
No, none have been good that I think. Me either. So for right now, you're focusing not on beef, but on beats.
Yeah.
And house music. Well, I guess that's what's coming out. When is that getting released?
The 14th of October. I've actually got a track with Ryan, who used to do the Chewsday Show. So we've got.
Are you going to submit it into the review show?
I haven't submitted anything yet. We haven't got a video. I need to try and I was trying to do a lyric video, but I'm shit at videos.
CapCut, man.
Like, that's what
Literally
Rogan
CapCut.
for.
Yeah, listen, you put in the audio, and then it auto detects all the lyrics and adds them all, and then you just go through and fix them.
I think I might have a look at CapCut this evening.
You should definitely. That's how I did Quiet Nights one. How do you? I guess we're almost at time, so we'll go through some looking forward in different techniques. What techniques would you recommend to aspiring producers looking to improve their productions?
I suppose because I learned everything about FL Studio from YouTube. So YouTube is your friend. If you don't understand how to do something, don't stress yourself out trying to do it yourself. Just YouTube. The amount of simple things I've learned just by clicking on a video. And patience as well. Like you're not gonna create an absolute banger in an hour. Some people might, but it's a lot of patience and making sure you're happy with it, not for what other people think. As long as you're happy with it, other people will be happy with it. Well, they might not be, but criticism is criticism.
Subjective.
Yeah, constructive criticism, fine, I can take that. That's probably the most important thing: patience, and always try and learn before you quit.
That's some good advice. Definitely, especially if you are someone that struggles with perfectionism. Like I said, perfectionism in music, I feel like goes hand in hand. That patience is super important. Being patient with yourself and forgiving yourself. You can't do something.
Yeah,
it's okay. I guess for your journey as a producer, would you say that would be one of the most significant things that you've learned?
Yeah, definitely. Because I've learned. I mean, I can't make videos like MCD, and I don't have the passion for it like Rogue does. But I have my own specific style that I always go back to. And I just enjoy it now. Rather than getting angry with it all, I enjoy it.
Is there any other upcoming projects or collabs you're working on?
I have started making beats for another album called Production Credits, Volume 2. I did Volume 1 4 years ago. That was basically, right, here's a load of beats. If you want one, take it, record it, send it back to me. We'll go 60-40 split on your tracks. And then put it out on digital. I'll do all the promotion and all the work for that.
Did you have a lot of response on that first one?
The first one, I had 4 or 5 artists. Some of them didn't go through because the songs were already uploaded, but they wouldn't let me remix them because it had to be a separate thing.
Oh.
But this time,
so when an artist,
a lot.
Sorry. So when I'm just trying to understand. So with these, they'll say, find your beat. Say I find your beat. I go record to your beat. I send you my stuff. And then what do you do?
I upload it on all digital platforms, give you a 60% split of your
So
song.
it goes underneath your name as a producer, basically featuring them?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I've never seen that side of it. And just generally, like, even like if it's like with one of the guys, I'm like, yeah, of course I put your name on it and stuff. And a lot of people don't do that with producers.
No, I'd try and make them like a main artist, but I can't afford to add any more artists onto what I've already got. I've already got like 5 different main artists on my account.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that you had to pay for all those. I don't release a lot on my own. I release everything through WCR.
I think it's about $90 a year to DistroKid, and I get 5 main artists, but I've used all those now.
Okay. So as a producer, I did not know that was a whole different thing like that. Definitely something else cool to know. so producers, you definitely have that option to do that stuff with your music too. So then you actually, because I know that that's something that I've spoken with producers before that are like newer and starting out, and like they don't have it showing on their actual like music artists accounts when the artists are using them. So that's a good way for them to be able to build their own portfolio.
Yeah.
Like on Spotify or on the actual, not on BeatStars.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually really good advice for producers to be doing, putting those out there and trying to release them underneath yourself, because a lot of artists don't care as long as they get the split.
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
if you have followers and stuff too. That's pretty good. So looking ahead, going into your next couple albums, what do you feel like your goals are coming up, say this year, next year? What are things that you're trying to do that you're setting goals for?
I suppose expand my horizons a little bit, work with more artists in WCR, work with more artists around the country, maybe actually get a music video done, because in the 18 years I've been doing it, I've never had a music video apart from the one that MCD did for me. But I think just broaden my horizons, work with more artists, get some more like collaboration releases out.
That's I know that you've done a lot of different production styles. You were saying when I was asking you on the show, so I know that you've gone through a lot of journeys as a producer already, I guess, too, finding your sound and stuff. But I feel like you probably already have honed your sound in, and that's why you're able to play with it now.
Yeah, I think I've been doing it for long enough now. I know what I'm on about, or know what I'm doing.
Any other specific, advice or anything you would give? I want to get advice from you because I do an artist toolkit where I take 5 things from everybody that I've interviewed and kind of put them in like a PDF format. I'm going to be releasing as soon as I get all of our main artists here done. Then I'm expanding to community outreach stuff. But for our toolkit, like it's 5 things for artists to take with them to remember. Obviously you've talked about patience and learning before you quit. I kind of want to see what specific, pieces of advice or tools that you would leave for people that might be struggling with, autism, mental health, behavioral health, depression, anything like that, and still trying to do music. And then maybe I have a couple from just basic music toolkit things is the patience and stuff. But if you have any specific pieces of advice for anybody that might struggle.
I suppose don't let mental health define you. In the simplest possible term. I'm trying to expand on it, but my brain doesn't really want to do it at the moment. Don't think that just because you have like mental health problems or autism spectrum disorder that you're any less talented than people who say don't have that.
Yeah. Because I know that we definitely have artists, and even inside of our Discord that do struggle, we have a whole feelings channel where people go to hey, I'm not okay today. Today's not a good day. And so then there's a lot of people that do help each other. But definitely, I know that we do have some people inside of the community that do struggle. So I definitely think that this is a really important interview, and I'm so thankful that you did this with me. So I have right now, patience, learn before you quit. Some other little tads of information.
Don't push yourself too hard. You're not going to make an absolute banger first time and get big name artists on your beats.
And then basically for the mental health, you are enough, you can do it. That's a really big thing. I'm so glad that you are definitely not, not keeping up the stigma. Sorry, my Discord just popped up right in front of my screen. Not keeping up the stigma breaking the stigma of mental health. And I'm glad that you're not afraid to talk about it. And that this does feel like a comfortable, at least, space for you to speak about that too, because that's really big. And a lot of people, like you said, don't talk about it. That was one of my biggest issues when I was advocating for suicide prevention with AFSP was like, just talk, just have the awkward
Yeah.
fucking conversation. Like, and if you're someone that doesn't know how to approach somebody, just create that a safe space. You don't even have to say anything.
Sometimes just an ear is better than
Yeah.
saying anything at all.
Yeah, just even being there. Sometimes just the presence, literally,
Yeah.
the body doubling helps so much. But was there anything else that I left unturned about Nilzz, or where the community can connect with you? I know we went through all your socials and stuff.
I don't think so, to be honest. I think we've basically summarized everything that we could.
I think that we got everything, and you actually talked a lot during it. Very happy.
Oh, proud of myself for that.
I'm very proud of you. So we will let you get on with your day. I know that it's like midday for you there. We're a little bit early, but it's still early for everyone here. So good morning, everybody in America. Good afternoon, everybody out there, and good evening. I think further along. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys all have a great day, a good weekend. We do have the Survivor show tonight, as well with D-Bird and DJB going over all the Survivor shenanigans that happened this week. And then we have not the Nikey Joe Show Monday because it's today, but we do have our review show Wednesday. And then the Joe Jam is going to be on the 19th this month of October. So Saturday, if anybody wants to join us playing some games, we're doing Halloween theme. So we'll be having fun on stream then. And then the Chewsday show is every Thursday now. It's always on Thursday from now on. Okay. So the Chewsday show is every Thursday from now on. So it is Thursdays, and I believe that it is 2 p.m. my time.
2 p.m. your time.
2 p.m. my time. So 2 p.m. Eastern, which would be 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Pacific. Yay, time zones.
And 7 p.m. BST.
British springtime. When do you guys switch over for fall? Is it like a month after us?
I think it's this month. It's the Sunday before Halloween, whatever that date is.
Okay.
27th.
It's crazy.
So then we go back to GMT.
GMT. Okay. See, I think that I got the British time zones down pretty well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a great Sunday. And once again, thank you, Nilzz, so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Love y'all.
See you later.